how many people are on?
I think so.
On YouTube,
I don't know about Zoom, but
On YouTube.
You can see it on YouTube, but I can't see it from my view, but you can see it.
Are you recording this, Marianne?
Doesn't it stay on YouTube or no?
It does stay on YouTube, yeah.
Assumption girls, Assumption ladies.
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 yeah,
I'd say.
ladies.
Yeah. Kevin, I think I saw a sneak peek of your sweet little daughter in that slideshow.
You weren't here yet. You did
Okay.
it.
I figured. I figured I missed it.
The sweetest daughter to ever exist.
What's her
Aw.
name?
She is
Oh my gosh. Look how
so
cute.
precious. She is so cute. I just can't. I am so excited to go and hold her when this is over.
Aw.
I'm just so
Is that her
excited.
Valentine's Day outfit?
That was on Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Aw.
When was
What's
Valentine's
her name, Kevin?
Okay,
My name on here?
okay, we're almost, hello, everybody. We will be starting in just a few minutes.
I'm gonna go close this door. Is that better up there?
Yeah, that's good.
So when do I hit play? As soon as we start?
I
After
will,
I finish, maybe?
yeah, after Megan finishes introducing you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Great. 1 minute. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you had a nice lunch and a nice break. You're doing great on Goose Chase, even when the app is not doing great, you are. So when you try it again later, please try the app. But if that doesn't work, email is working great too. I love what I'm seeing. So I have a few friends here with me today. I have Miss Moore, who's going to help out a little later, and Miss Long and Miss Rose, who know a lot about our special guest star. So Miss Rose, would you take it from there?
Sure. Good afternoon, ladies. This is Miss Rose and Miss Long. And if you didn't know, we are both psychology teachers here at Assumption. We are so excited and are here to welcome and introduce Kevin Pearce. He's a former professional snowboarder who's now an inspirational survivor, sports commentator, motivational speaker, and advocate for brain injury and Down syndrome. Miss Long and I have shown the documentary about Kevin called The Crash Reel to our psychology classes for several years now, and everyone has found it so inspirational. We're so honored to introduce him to you today. And we're gonna start off with, he's gonna show an 8-minute clip from the HBO documentary, The Crash Reel. So welcome, Kevin.
Thank you.
Kevin and Pearce, raised on maple syrup, sharp cheddar, leaned on the hills of Vermont. This guy right here is slaying it.
It's cool to have people saying that you're Olympic hopeful. I'm super excited to be going for it this way.
Kevin, I don't think our sound is working right.
Sean White in a run for his money. Kevin Pearce for Sean White.
We share the same talent. It's such an exciting time.
Going into the Olympics, Kevin was the guy to beat Sean White.
I think people are going to be blown away when they get to see.
American snowboarder Kevin Pearce remains in critical condition tonight after a training accident in Utah.
After how many days? 26. In intensive care. This is a big difference.
As he started to make any recovery. I mean, I'll never forget when I was sitting with him and I was holding his hand and he moved his finger on my hand.
How you doing? You know, and then he would pinch with his right hand, but his left hand wouldn't work. So then we were like, you know, is he paralyzed? And then he get a blood clot in his arm, you know, so it was just constantly new hurdles to get over. There's very little change. And then after that, it felt like there was like this amazing ladder of progression.
Hey everyone, thanks for all your support. Walking around, I appreciate everything you guys have done. Keep it up.
I dropped everything I was doing. I quit my job, and I was determined to be by his side for as long as it took for him to get better. It felt really good because a lot of the times in the hospital, I'd see other patients without that support. I knew what worked for him and not necessarily all the therapists did. So it was easy for me to say, let's just turn this like to a little competitive game and he'll want to do it. Is that the best finger? You think you go that way, it's bigger, right? Oh, get in there.
Second is Kevin's draw person, follow the parts, doing anything. I don't know if you can see his person down there. It's not his best artwork piece, let's just say. 13th of April, draw person. And this guy's got a body now. Hands go where hands go, legs go where legs go.
I would just like to toast how much better I have gotten and how much everybody has helped me in there and how amazing the progress is.
Kevin, that was excellent. I think pretty much just toast just shows the progress.
Okay, so moving forward, how hard do you see that I can hit my head?
You must really like Pearce. You wanna come back? That's the question, Austin. When can I come back?
All right, that's it, baby. 3 months in Craig and I'm out. Later.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for our brother, Mr. Kevin Pearce.
Snowboarding is my true love. And it's really hard to understand why I would ever want to get back on a board after what I've been through, unless you really understood the feeling I had for snowboarding. It's just so exciting that I'm going to get back to it. I still want to snowboard. I want that feeling back.
Medically, you cannot afford to hit your hands.
Because of the way that the eye was injured, it's not realistic to expect single vision in every direction.
What a day.
You actually could die.
Get me out of here. Enough's enough if I feel 100% confident.
No, I just don't want
I want to thank you guys for getting me back here, for making this possible. What we've been working on. Boys. First contest back. Ready, go. Yeah, I was bummed out and I wish I'd done well, but I definitely am not good enough and not in the place that I need to be. The bad voice in my head says it's not going to end. I'm never going to be able to get rid of this pain. I'm not getting past this brain injury. It's not going anywhere. 2.5 years later, your memory's at a 4%. I'm not even close. I really want to be happy and I want to be positive, and I feel like there's times that it comes across that I'm not, and I just really hate that. I just feel like whether it's the NFL, skiing, snowboarding, skateboarding, just like all these different sports, people are hitting their heads and they're having serious repercussions.
Okay, Trevor, touch your elbow. Where's your elbow? Can you touch it on your other side? Point to just your elbow.
Elbow?
Yeah, just your elbow.
This one?
Okay.
I know you're brain injured. I know what it's like to be brain injured. I'm brain injured. It sucks. But you can fix it. You can change. You can work on it. I know snowboarding's good, man. Snowboarding was awesome when we used to get to do it. But, life's changed and things are different now. You did not want to screw this thing up like we did. Mine's screwed up too, man. But you've got to love it. You got to realize that things have changed now. It's a whole new life for me. I used to be waking up every morning in a new country, going to a big snowboard contest. Now it's waking up every morning and just being so happy to be here. When I was a younger kid, I remember thinking that if something bad happens to me, I'm going to be able to come back, and I'm going to be able to come back really strong. And then it's like it happened to me. It's weird to have thought that. I feel like I've come back pretty good now. I think the hardest thing for me to come to accept, and that I've been so fortunate because I have accepted, is how much my life has changed and just how different things are now and how different things will be forever. Okay. Oh no, I'm not sharing. Okay, we're back. Ladies, Assumption High, thank you guys all so much for having me. I have no idea how many of you there are, but I think there's a couple. That was the crash reel. This is my family. That's me down low, the little guy. And
That's Adam with his hand over his shoulder, and then my oldest brother Andrew, and then David down there in the bottom corner. And you can see David is a little different looking. David has Down syndrome. David is the most amazing brother, the most awesome older brother in the entire world, and that's obviously my mom. And I got to grow up the youngest of four, and that was cool to be the youngest. And then from a really young age, there we go. I got a snowboard. This is my first snowboard. And then I met this guy. I'm guessing a lot of you ladies recognize this guy, but for all of you that don't, that's Shaun White. And I'm guessing you all know who Shaun White is. I hope you all know who Shaun White is, even though you're in Illinois. I hope you still know who Shaun White is. I got to meet him at a really young age, and it was always kind of like he was always better than me. He was always way better than me. So he was this guy that I like always looked up to, and I always wanted to be like him, and I always like copied him and did what he did, and I always followed him around. And then I started beating him. Like that one in the middle, you can see like that redhead down below me, like that's Shaun White. And then like Shaun White, Europe, Japan, kind of like Norway, all over the world. It was like me and then Shaun. And it was like I started beating my idol, my hero, this person that was everything to me in life. I started beating him. And that was like a pretty crazy time for me to be able to like be on top of these podiums, traveling around the world and winning everything. And it was like, that's like the ultimate dream come true, right? And so then it was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for Vancouver 2010. Like I can beat Shaun. Like my snowboarding was at its top level, and I was like, I'm good. Like I'm gonna go to the Vancouver Olympics and I'm gonna win that. And so I got Nike to build me this half pipe. And this half pipe, it had an airbag at the bottom of it. So we cut the wall off the 22-foot half pipe. I have no idea if you guys are understanding what I'm talking about, because this gets a little bit confusing, but we cut the wall off, like this huge half pipe, and they took a snowcat and they just cut the wall off, and they put this airbag down there. And so in this airbag, check this out. So we started to try these new tricks called double corks, right? And in that one, it's like I just landed on my head, and but it's like this big bag of air, and then you just roll out of it and you go up and you try it again. Like, so it's kind of like I guess it's like a freebie. It's like you can just try whatever you want and you fall into like a cloud. And that was like so cool. And I was like, I did it again and again and again. And then Adam, my brother, was filming me, so I could like watch what I was doing and what I needed to fix and what I needed to do different. And then this happened. So that's like a perfect double McTwist. And those are all my buddies at the top, like freaking out. Like this is the first time this had ever been done. And like, we were kind of like inventing these things called double corks. It was like, we were the first ones to do it. And so I was like, okay, this is like cool. I got the double cork. I got the double McTwist. But me being who I am and the person that I've always been, I'm like, okay, I want to learn more. Like, what else can I do? So I was like, that's a double McTwist where you're going up forward. I was like, okay, I want to learn how to do it backwards. So I want to learn how to do 2 flips and 2 spins the other way, called a cab double cork. And so I went and I tried it into the airbag. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready for this trick.
Hey.
Yes.
Right. So the trick was right there, you guys. Like I had it. I had that feeling of just like so much success, and I had so much confidence that I was going to land this trick. I was like, I need this one. So I run back up there to go do it again. Ooh, didn't get it. That was not what I was trying to do. See, I was over the lip, just a little, the lip of the half pipe, the edge of the half pipe, and I obviously landed and flipped in, that looks bad. Like that fall looks like, even to me, that's a bad fall. That's like almost as bad as it can get. And so Nike had built this half pipe for me, and I brought all my friends up there, and I was like laying in the bottom, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain. Like this hurts so bad. And so I went down, and I was like, then it ended up being like all the pain went to my ankle. And I was like, okay, like I think something's wrong. So I went and got x-rays at the hospital, and they were like, no, it's not broken. And so then I went and got more x-rays, and they figured out that my ankle was totally shattered. Like I totally broke my entire ankle. So there I am, like Nike building me this half pipe, and I can't even ride it anymore. I'm just like stuck with a broken ankle. And so that whole summer, I focused on healing my ankle. Like, I don't know about how many of you ladies have ever broken a bone, or how many of you guys have ever hurt something, but like it heals, right? Like you focus. So all of my energy went to focusing on that ankle, healing that, and it got better. I had it in a cast, and then it was like, okay, it's better. And now I'm like, I'm ready. And then that happened. I went up and I tried, and that happened. And for some reason, that fall, that didn't look as bad, but how I felt right there, very quickly.
Snowboarder Kevin Pearce remains in critical but stable condition tonight after a training accident yesterday. He was wearing a helmet at the time, but just sustained some serious injury.
I was wearing a helmet. But I still sustained some serious injuries. That, for me right there, we don't need to stay on that slide because no one needs to look at that. That was the easy part for me. I don't remember any of this. I don't remember this entire month. Not one single thing do I remember of this recovery. And you better believe Adam, Andrew, my mom, my dad, David, they remember every minute of this. But I don't know what it is. It's like something about the brain. It's like the brain almost has this defense mechanism where I don't want to remember being in that much pain. It doesn't want to remember hurting it that bad, and like all the pathways that I broke and all the stuff that happened to it. It's like, I don't want to remember that. And then that was immediately following it. We don't need to keep it. And then I started getting better though. And then I started like progressing, and like I started like through these therapies that I started doing, like things started working again, and like stuff started like reactivating in the pathways. We have hundreds of billions of pathways, neurological pathways in our brain. And I started to fix them, and they started like, I could like do things again, and I could start working again. And this is what I found to me was the most helpful thing to do, was to love this brain. This doctor told me, hey, Kevin, you need to love your brain. I was like, I looked at, and this is a serious story. I looked at my mom. I go, Mom, this doctor's so stupid. What does he mean, love your brain? And then like, as I started to learn more about it, your brain is your everything. It allows you to see, it allows you to talk, it allows you to think, it allows you to feel the good, the bad, the ugly. All of that stuff is because your brain lets you do it. And so it's almost like you got to think of your brain as the most important part of your body, because it does let you do everything. And through this foundation that my brother and I have started, we realized that this is the worst thing you can do, are the ants, the automatic negative thoughts. So, all right, it's pretty simple. The brain's really complicated. There's like a lot of stuff going on up there, but what it comes down to is it's like your brain releases these chemicals every time you have a thought. Think about it. You have a good thought, you feel good, right? Oh my gosh, I did so good in basketball today. Like, yes, I played so well. And you feel good. When you go out and you have a good practice, you feel good. When you go out and you have a bad practice and you tell yourself, oh, I suck. Like, I can't make a shot, or, oh, I can't make it down the court, or I can't do this, or I keep whatever. You don't feel good after that. That, like, you feel bad. And so for every time you have a good thought, your brain releases these chemicals. And the good chemicals, they make you feel good, right? And every bad thought releases a bad chemical that makes you feel bad. And the fact is that these thoughts are automatic. And they just happen, and they can damage you. For every positive thought, it's like good, it's helping you heal. And for every bad thought, it's hurting your brain. So the ants, that's an easy one for us all to remember. Automatic negative thoughts. Like, I don't know, there's just some people in this world that are really negative. And it's like, you got to help them and support them to be like, look at it, like it's not that bad. Like this is a crazy world that we're living in, and more now than ever is it just like our times, just like none of us have ever experienced anything like this. And like instead of being negative about it all, like let's try and like put a little twist on it and like maybe just be a little bit easier with ourselves. This right here, this SPECT scan shows the blood flow. Do we know if everyone can see this with all of our things here? Can you guys see the negative cerebellum here?
Yeah, I think it's working fine.
Yeah, all right. So you can see the grateful thoughts versus the negative thoughts and how much more activity there is in your brain. Like that's clear. Like your brain is moving. Your brain is active when you're positive and you're happy. Like I'm not sitting here like all positive and happy. This isn't fake. Like that's who I am. Like I am like so just thankful to be alive and to be here because I know how quickly life can go. And so it's like I guess it's just like, to me, it's just like, why be negative? It's like, there's no excuses. There's no reason that you can't, like, yeah, we all have bad days and that's part of life is having the bad times. Like, you better believe I wasn't positive when I was in a coma. Like I didn't know, I don't remember anything. So it's like, but when you're able in your, like you can, and if you just open up a little bit, the positivity, it changes everything. And for me, yoga and meditation helped with this massively. Yoga and meditation, I mean, the way I see it is yoga is a moving meditation. And you're just doing a little bit of movement, but you're focusing on your breath. And you're coming back to this place where we all are all the time. And that's right here, right now. Like you guys, I hope that you're with me. I hope you're not on your phones and you're not somewhere else, but you can be with me through this presentation and hear me, because we're always trying to be somewhere else. And that's what meditation and yoga does. It allows us to be in the present moment, which is right now, because that's all we have is this moment. And like, you might say like, oh, like, I hate doing this, or I hate that, or this is the worst, or why not just like try and be here? And just, so that has like been huge for me to be able to tap into that. And through this, we've started the Love Your Brain Foundation, and at loveyourbrain.com you can find a lot of different stuff, and we have tips and different stuff coming out on the Facebook and Insta and Twitter and stuff. And oh my gosh, I didn't realize this clip was next. This is like the coolest thing ever to talk about right here. That's my baby girl. That's my baby girl, Emery, who, and I hope you guys all are like, oh my gosh, but it gets even better because baby Emery was born on my birthday, which is November 1st. And she came into this world, and my world has just exploded. What is that? Just about 4 months ago was she born. And that photo was just taken yesterday. And she is the cutest, most perfect little angel ever. And I am like so happy and proud to be able to share with the world that this little perfect beam of light is in my life now. And it has been so much fun getting to go with Emery and just like kind of like see what it's like to have her be a part of this world. And now like I have this most perfect wife, Caitlin, who I've been married to now for 2 years, a little over 2 years. And having this girl has changed everything for me. And no longer do I sit here, and in that documentary, I talk about how I'll always be brain injured and I'll always have this. And that's not the case anymore. I don't feel any issues or effects. And I feel totally perfect and like back to the exact place that I ever hoped I would be. And I do a lot of it. Oh, yes, this is cool. I'll talk about that next, is the Mindful March movement that we're doing for the Love Your Brain Foundation. I'm so excited to offer you guys this, that for the month of March, which is Brain Injury Awareness Month around the world, we hold Mindful March, which is a daily meditation, or you can just do 10 days of meditation. Maybe you've never tried it and you're a bit scared, but if you use the code Assumption when you check out at loveyourbrain.com, you'll get 50% off for you guys. And I I highly urge you to do this, to go on and just try it out. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you don't know how to meditate. Maybe you don't know what to do. But the idea of meditation, I'll just quickly talk about it with you guys because of how much it's helped me, is to try and just slow down the thoughts. So we have all these thoughts all day, right? Just constantly thinking about different stuff, what I have to eat, what I have to go do, what class I have to do, how much homework I have, like how bad I'm doing in school, how great I'm doing in school, all these different thoughts. Some thoughts are good and some are bad. Probably for most of us, more thoughts are bad than good. And that's what I found through meditation, is that by just stopping and not talking and just focusing on your breath for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, these thoughts, they start to slow down. And that's the idea of meditation, is to slow down how many thoughts you have. So maybe instead of having 50 or 100 thoughts while I'm doing this, maybe you only have a couple, and maybe they just like, you don't think so much and it's not like so intense for you. And so Mindful March has been really, really powerful, to just wake up every morning and to see in your email that you get to try to do a little quick meditation. So I'm so excited to offer you guys that, and for you guys to maybe try it out. Maybe you're scared, maybe you're nervous, but I urge you to give it a try. And then you guys can follow along. I'm mostly on the Instagram, I'll say it. My wife Caitlin works at Twitter, so I probably should be on Twitter more, but I'm on Instagram more. But I share a lot of stuff. I do a lot of stories with Emery and kind of what's happening in my life with my new family and how excited I am. So I'd love for you guys to follow along and check it out. And yeah, that has been so cool to be able to share with everyone. And do we have any questions? I love questions. I love it. You guys can ask anything that comes up, anything about the brain, anything about my daughter, anything that you're thinking. Do we have anyone coming in with questions, Rose, or is it pretty quiet out there?
I think we have some questions. So
it's so hard
Miss
not being able
Rose,
to see all you guys. I just wish one day I could come and see you guys all when this all clears up.
Yes, I have a couple questions so far we can start off with, and hopefully, some more will be coming in on our emails. But the first question is from one of my students. Her name's Caroline Cermak, and she's a senior. And I think this is a really good question because she's seen the whole crash reel. She asks you, if you could go back and relive your life, would you still have decided to be a snowboarder? Why or why not?
Wow, Caroline, great question. Great question. The answer, that's an easy one for me to answer. And the answer is 100% yes. Kind of snowboarding has given me so much, and it has allowed me to do kind of almost everything I've always dreamt of. I got to do through snowboarding. I got to travel around the world. I got to like hang out with my best friends and do what I love doing most. And I guess what it was for me when I found snowboarding is that I felt really successful and I felt really accomplished. And so I have pretty bad dyslexia. So my dad is the worst in our family. My dad has he's the worst has dyslexia the worst. And then Andrew, and then Adam, and then David has Down syndrome, and kind of I have dyslexia, and it's pretty bad. And every day in high school, did I go to special education? Did I have help with like all my different stuff? Would I get help and support? Because I wasn't able to do it myself, because like my brain didn't work like that, and I didn't learn the same way as everyone else. And then I found snowboarding, and it was like, wow, like I'm so successful at snowboarding and I'm so good at it. And like, I just loved it so much. And I'd just be in class and I'd be thinking about snowboarding and when I could get out there. And so for me, it was like that was almost like my calling, not my calling in life, but that was like what I feel like I like needed to allow me to feel successful. And I guess for what I could say for you guys, that like if you haven't found that yet, like don't worry and don't feel pressure that you need to know and find out like that thing tomorrow. Like I was very lucky in the sense that I found it when I was young, but then if you look at the other side of it, it's like now I don't have it. now I can't snowboard professionally anymore. And I never will again because of how badly that injury was. So now it's like, now I sit here in front of however many hundreds of you and saying that I have to find it again. Like I have to find what I'm going to do and what I like because I lost it. I can still snowboard. I can still go ride, but I don't do competitions. I don't like make money off snowboarding anymore. Like that's not my life. That's not my focus. So now it's like, I don't know, like going into a brave new world, which is the theme of this week for you guys, is it's like, it's a scary world and you got to be brave and you got to be confident in yourself and you got to be like, okay, I got to work hard at this. Like snowboarding didn't just come easy. I didn't just like become one of the best snowboarders in the world because I was just like, oh yeah, I like snowboarding. That happened because I worked every day at it and I worked as hard as I could and I always gave it everything I had. And it was never any excuses for me. It wasn't like, oh, I can't do this because I don't have this or I'm not good enough, right? I was never good enough. Shaun White was always better than me. And it was like, that's where I want to be. And so in order to get there, everything has to be focused on getting to that place. And that is how I've kind of taken this injury in recovery, is with that same focus that I took into snowboarding. And I really believe that that's given me a huge ability to be where I am now.
Thank you. I've got questions coming in hot, but Miss Long or Miss Moore, do you guys have one?
All right, I'll be quicker then so we can get to all of them.
It's coming in now.
Yeah, now you guys are opening up. All right, I wish I could be with you guys. I wish you could like talk to me. This is so unfair.
I have, oh, I don't, hold on. My audio isn't working. I'll forward this to Megan.
No, we can hear you.
You got you.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, I didn't think it wasn't working earlier. Anyway, this is from seniors, two of them, Molly Potter and Madeline Smith, and they want to know what the hardest part of your recovery was.
Yes, another great question, another very easy answer for me. It was my vision. So here, let's try and do this. This might be kind of weird for you guys, but if I come up close, can you guys see my pupils, that they're different sizes? Can you tell that? Can you not really see? Is it too hard to tell? Well,
if you want to stop, if you stop sharing your screen, then we might be able to see a little closer too. I don't know if that might help.
Can they see this?
It's probably bigger, yeah.
Can you see how that's kind of creepy, but can you see how they're different sizes? So basically, my vision was really, really badly affected when this happened because of the part of the brain that I hurt. It like really, like, there was a lot of different stuff, but my eyes were by far and away the worst. And for about 8 years of my life did I have glasses on that were 1.5 inches thick, the lenses of them, because it had a 14 prism in them, which allowed to correct my eyes and realign them. And then I found this doctor in Chicago, and I'd fly from my home here in Vermont to Chicago every couple of weeks to go and see this doctor. And it's really complicated what she did, but basically she fixed my eyes. And like, I'm sitting here now in front of you looking at you guys 20/20, and I don't have contacts in, and it was really hard. I think that one of the hardest reasons is because the eye surgeon that gave me the eye surgeon said you will never have single vision again. So it's like immediately was I put to be given zero hope. She said you can't have single vision and never gaze a direction again. So like that right there was like, well, this person knows how to do an eye surgery, like she must know everything. And instead of like taking that and being like, okay, I have to live with double vision again, I used that. And it was like, watch me show you that I will have single vision again. It's like, that was just kind of like fuel to my fire, hearing that like, you can never have double vision. You can never have single vision again. It's like, I use things like that to get me excited to like show like nothing's impossible in this world. Like whatever you're dealing with, whatever you go through, you can overcome it. And I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're paralyzed. I don't care if you're blind. I don't care what it is. It's like, if you focus hard enough and you do enough work, you can overcome anything in the world. And I feel like I can sit here and say that because it feels like I overcame, it was almost worse than being blind. The issues I was feeling, that I was dealing with my eyes. And like the stuff I went through was so bad and it was so extreme that it's like, I know what that experience is like. So I guess that is a long answer to a quick question. My vision was the one.
Thank you. I wondered the same thing. So I have a question from Alexis, who's a freshman, and she asked, what is it like being such a big part of so many strangers' lives in such a positive way?
Alexis, wow, thank you. That is such a kind question. I guess it's so cool for me that like people can watch this movie and take away something so special from it. Because like, to be honest with you, I watch it and I'm like, ooh, like that kid, like, I don't know. I feel like I look kind of weird in the movie. And like, I'm so badly injured that it's like, it's almost hard for me to watch. So I guess I think you get a different perspective, but all right, I love stories. So I'm going to share another story with you, but you guys got to promise that you don't tell anyone, especially my wife. So my wife works at Twitter and so my wife watched the crash reel and she works at Twitter and she was holding this charity day and she reached out to my speaking agent to see if I could come and speak at Twitter. And my speaking agent never responded to Kate. And so Kate wrote me a message on Instagram asking if I could come and speak at Twitter. And then I went to New York and like, it was love at first sight. And we completely and totally fell in love in New York and we're married a year later. And now we have a baby girl. And it's like, so that's where it's like, I don't know, I guess like, that's not really an answer to that question, but the crash reel like has given me a baby girl in a weird way. And I'm just like sitting here just like, I don't know, I guess I just sit here in front of all of you just like, I'm so amazed because my life before snowboarding, it was like I was basically living this fake life. Like it was like I was getting paid to travel around the world with my best friends, flying business class, making unreal amounts of money when I was just a teenager. And it was almost like it was too good to be true. And then this all happened to me and I was like, it was almost like I was put in my place. It was like life was too good. Like you can't live a life that good. And then I've spent the last decade, the last 10 years have I spent, and that's no lie. It's not just like a couple of those of the last 10 years, but since this happened to me on New Year's of 2009, 2010, over a decade ago, I have spent almost every day working on getting better. And now it's like I can sit here in front of you guys, and what I would hope is a couple hundred of you, and say that like I'm back to that fake life. Like it almost feels fake again where I am now with like the most perfect wife and the most beautiful baby. And I have this beautiful house in Vermont. And it's like, I don't know. So I just hope that you guys can take from this. Like it was like all of you that have seen the movie and you just saw that little clip. It's like my brain damage was like, that was about as bad as it can get, spending that much time in a coma and in critical care and like having to deal with it. And it's like I never once took it like, oh, I'm gonna like, it was never in my mind like, okay, I'm just gonna be average. Like, yeah, I'll just have double vision because the doctor says I'm gonna have double vision. It's like basically I think it's proof that you can create your reality. And like whatever it is you want to do, you can do it if you work hard enough at it. And I guess like what you can take away is that like hard work pays off, and that like I guess easy things, like easy stuff to me isn't that cool. Just things that just kind of just happen. But like when you have to work hard and you have to like grind down and grit and just get into it, it's like that's when the real stuff happens. So that's how I'm feeling about that. I don't know if you like that story, but that's kind of cool. I met my wife.
I have another for you. I have so many, but I'm going to try to combine some of these because I have some of the same questions. This is Mimi Steinbach is also one of my seniors that watched, and this is happening a couple times. Is people are asking, how is David doing, and how is your family?
Oh gosh, I love that question because it's actually a pretty loaded question. Dave is doing awesome. Dave is doing great, but at the same time, Dave has a really, really hard life. David cannot drive. David will never drive. David cannot live by himself. David will never live alone. David doesn't have a girlfriend. David won't ever have kids. David sees all of us. He sees his three brothers. Like, we all have wives. We all have kids. We all have like, I don't know, like more regular lives. And David doesn't. David, like, he needs full-time care. And yet what you see in that movie is what you get. Like that for every single one of us. So like that movie is totally and completely true and honest and real. And I think that's the best part about the crash reel is like what you get in that movie is David. Like but life is a lot harder for David than, I guess David kind of shines the brightest in the crash reel. I would say like David is like the standout, and like life's not that easy for David. As the crash reel makes it look, it's like, I hate to say it, but he has a really hard time and he deals with it, and he is happy, and like he is living a great life, but it's Down syndrome is tough, and he makes the most out of it. So they're doing awesome. And then we'll talk about the other guys a little bit. My mom, they actually all live quite close to each other. I live about an hour and a half away. I used to live in California, so I'm closer now, but we're all here in Vermont, and everybody is doing awesome. Andrew owns a company that makes wooden bowls, beautiful wooden bowls, and Adam runs Love Your Brain Foundation, and my mom and dad have a business that make hand-blown glass and pottery. And I don't know, I'm a lucky one. I have a really, really solid family, and I'm so excited to get to start one of my own. It's like, it's crazy that I'm a dad now. It's like, I hope you guys can tell, like I'm a kid. Like I feel like there's a lot of youth in my bones. Maybe it's the snowboarding, maybe how I was raised, whatever it was, but it's like, as much of a kid as I am, it's like I have my own kid now, so I got to be an adult, and I will be an adult. I'm like so excited to be a dad, but I hope you all know I'm going to be a cool dad, and like I'm going to be the most fun dad in the entire world.
I kind of have a question that was sent to me about you as a parent. Can I ask? Can I go ahead and ask it?
I haven't talked about being a parent yet.
Yeah. So one of our teachers here, Miss Diane Darst, asked, is it hard for a parent to let go when their children are trying something new, especially if it could be dangerous? So you're a parent now. Have you thought about how you will handle being supportive of your daughter if she wants to do an extreme sport, while at the same time you'll be fearing for her safety?
Yeah. Totally. I am like so excited to teach my daughter how to snowboard, and I'm definitely going to teach her how to snowboard first. And then if she wants to ski, I'm going to let her ski. I'm not going to be a parent that tells her what she has to do. I'm going to let her decide. And even if she wants to start skiing, I think she might start snowboarding before she can decide if she wants to ski or snowboard. Cause I don't know if I think that maybe like when she's really young, I'm going to try and get her on a snowboard, but I think my approach is kind of the approach that my parents took at us. It's like, I'm going to let her decide, and I'm going to do what she wants to do, and I'm going to make sure that she does it in the safest way possible. So like when we snowboard or when we ski or whatever we do, she's going to wear a helmet. That's the safest thing you can do. When she rides a bike, I'm going to like make sure that she has a helmet on. And when she does these things, like, I don't know, I guess I'm sitting here so thankful that like she probably isn't going to want to play football, because I think like football is totally crazy. Like if I have a boy, because we're going to have more kids, you can't just have, I don't want to just have one, but if we do have more kids and we do have a boy, I think that football, I'll probably try and steer if I do have a son, I'd probably try and steer him away from football, because I don't really agree with that. But other than that, it's kind of like, it's free game, and whatever my daughter wants to do, I'm just going to make sure that she can do it in the safest, smartest way possible. And I don't know, I guess I sit here and I think that like life is dangerous, and this is a crazy world, and like to be able to be brave in this world and to go and try stuff and to go and put yourself out there, that's like the most exciting part of life. Like I remember being younger and in snowboarding and learning tricks, and like learning tricks on a snowboard made me feel the best I've ever felt in my life. Like I can say that like very honestly, that when I learned how to snowboard, it was like the beginning times of trying that new stuff where I had the most fun. And I think that, you know, whatever it is that lights you up and makes you alive is what I want my daughter to be able to feel and do, because I think that's like my favorite part about life is feeling those things.
You guys have some more? I have some. Sorry. I have many. This is a senior, Bridget Brooks. She's asking you, what's one piece of advice you can give us as we're transitioning from high school to the real world? This time comes with so many high stress situations, and you're a pro at dealing with these. Could you give us some tips?
Bridget, wow. Bridget, that is like, yeah, wow. You're dealing, you guys are all, every single one of you where you're at right now in life is like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of older people like forget what that feels like. And that's, I guess, one reason why I feel so young is because I feel like I could be right in your footsteps, because I remember being in high school and just like, and honestly having no idea what I was going to do, because when I was like in high school, I didn't know that I was going to, I wasn't the best snowboarder in the world in high school. It's like, I don't know. I guess you guys probably hear a lot how young you are. And you're like, I'm not young. Like, you guys aren't young. You're in high school. Like, you guys are like becoming adults, and like your life is like getting started. And at the same time as you guys are so grown up and like you're so awesome and you're doing so much, you are still so young. And like being 17, 18, it's like, that is so young. And just to like be understanding that, like, enjoy this time, enjoy being at this age, and like don't put too much pressure on yourself to be like, I have to know what I'm going to do tomorrow, I have to know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, because that's not the case. And for me, like, I don't know, I took a much different approach. Like, I found out that I love snowboarding when I was maybe a junior or senior in high school, and I didn't go on to college. And my dad didn't go on to college, and my brother did go to college, and my other brother did go to college. So like, it was kind of both ways in our family. And like, I totally think college is an awesome, perfect thing if you enjoy school and that's where you want to go. And like, you're having like if you're doing well and like you're working hard and like school is right, like, yeah, go to college, like, and keep learning and take 4 more years to figure out what you're going to do and like what your future holds. But out of high school, I think thinking what you need to know that you're going to do for the rest of your life isn't realistic. And maybe there's some of you guys that do know what you want to do for the rest of your life, and that's cool. But for everyone that doesn't, like, don't put too much stress on yourselves, and don't overthink it, and just keep yourself up at night because you don't know your future, and you don't know, and you don't know, and you don't know. But instead, be okay with that and be like, whoa, this is a really scary feeling, and this is like really hard to deal with, but just accept those feelings and just be okay with that feeling of like, I have no idea what my life is going to be. I sit here in front of you at 32. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Like, I did all this in snowboarding, and like, that's done. That's over. It's like, I'm not going to, I don't know, like, you can't become a professional athlete at the age of 32. Like, so I don't know. I guess like it's a hard question, but a long answer made short is just like, be easy with yourself. Just like, be okay with where you are.
Go ahead. Sorry, Beth.
I just have a comment that came in case you're wondering if you are connecting with the girls. The answer would be yes. I got a message from a student, and I don't know if she wants me to say her name or not, so I won't, but it says, tell the teachers who coordinated the Kevin Pearce interview that everybody is loving it. Everyone is texting each other. And I thought you guys would want to know that you all made a great decision with asking him this year. I will remember this forever. Best mission week ever. So there you go.
Well, that's a great one. And that just made me think of something. So The Crash Reel is an awesome movie, but it's kind of old. And when The Crash Reel ends, that's not how I am now. Like, as life goes on, people change. And like, as life gone on, I've gotten better. And like, I've continued to work and the work has paid off and I'm in like this perfect place. And now like, I'm so excited because we're doing another documentary. And this documentary is going to be called Thrive. And I've shown a little bit of stuff on Instagram, but basically this is with a guy named Owen Wright. And Owen Wright is from Australia and he's one of the best surfers in the world. And Owen Wright had a brain injury. And the other guy's name is Kobe Stevens. And Kobe Stevens is also from Australia. And he is a rugby player who also had a brain injury. And the three of us are very similar where we've been very successful with our healing. And so now we're going to do another documentary that kind of follows up on The Crash Reel. It's kind of how I'm thriving and how like after it's like, I don't know, a lot of people, they watch that movie and they're like, man, like it's so crazy. And like, you see what happens to me and it's like, it's so intense. Like it's like the worst of the worst. And now this next documentary is just going to be like the best of the best about like how, I don't know, I'm not going to spill it, but like, it's really exciting. And they just came and interviewed me and my wife and beautiful Emery a couple of days ago. And it's kind of hard right now because of the times we're living in. So it's going to come out next year at Sundance. So we all have some, I guess I have something to look forward to now. So new documentary.
I'm sure a lot of our students are going to want to watch that when that comes out. That's really exciting.
Watch it together. Maybe I'll come to Illinois and watch it with you guys.
Yeah.
I just want to like see what all these beautiful students even look like. I can't believe I don't even get to see one of you. You guys have all been looking at me for the last 45 minutes. All right, I'll do it.
Question.
Check out this. I have so much hair and I've just been covering it all up this whole time. Come on, we got to get a little laugh here. We got to have some fun, huh? All right, we got a couple more minutes. I'm going to leave the hat off.
So I have a student that's a freshman that's asking, how often during your recovery process did you meditate in order to get your mind so positive?
Wow, that's a great question too. I did a lot of meditation because what you'll find if you guys are willing to try this is that at the beginning, meditation is really hard, really, really hard because your brain it's almost just like it's on fire. It's just like these thoughts are going and going and going and going. And you sit down and you close your eyes and you try and focus on your breath and you just have these thoughts and these thoughts and these thoughts. And it's like any practice in the entire world. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And the more you do it, the less thoughts you're going to have every time you sit down. So say you sit down for 10 minutes and you have 100 thoughts. And then the next time you sit down, maybe try to just have one less thought. Just try and focus on just getting a little bit better. And like, so it's a practice. Like anything in life, meditation is a practice. And I guess for me, it took a little while till I really started noticing the effects of how much it was helping and how much just slowing down and in like quieting my mind was really helping me. Because for me, after a brain injury, it's like your brain is just on fire. You have broken all these pathways and all this stuff is messed up and thoughts are just going all over the place. And like, as I'm able to calm the mind. So I guess a good way to think about it is like the ocean and like the waves and like how the waves come. And sometimes like when there's a storm, there's waves everywhere, there's thoughts everywhere. And then the waves calm down and it just becomes a little bit more mellow. And that's kind of meditation. It's like all over the place. And when you have those times where you can just like be really mellow and calm, I really noticed it helping me in a huge way.
We have time for another one?
Couple more?
Yeah. Another comment from another student. This is so exciting. I cannot deal can you come back after COVID in person? So that's one thing.
Okay, who's that from? Because I'm gonna follow up with them. You're gonna have to get me to come back, because that would be like, this is like so fake. I'm like looking at your 3 awesome teachers right now, and they all look so happy, and I'm getting like, I get nothing from any of you students. I have no idea to know if you guys are just like on your computers right now, just like over this, or you're all just like ready for more. But it sounds like a couple of you are ready for more. So we got this new documentary coming out, so there's gonna be a lot to talk about. We're gonna have a lot to discuss.
And Anna Grace Gibson asked, who is your biggest inspiration and pushes you to keep going?
Wow, you guys have like the best questions. Right now it's my wife. That's an easy one. My wife, Caitlin, she is like so incredible. Like, she's so incredible, get this. So Twitter gave her 5.5 months of maternity leave after she had her baby Emery. And while she's been on maternity leave, she is so amazing that they promoted her to a global role at Twitter. Just while she's been at home taking care of our baby. Like, that's how awesome my wife is now she's got to be like taking like global stuff, because Twitter is all around the world. And so like but I can say my life has changed a lot. And for a long time, it was my mom. My mom was like hands down number one. My mom did everything for me. Like, and you see it in the crash reel, like how much it's like, that's the definition. That shows you like how much somebody can give to somebody else is how much my mom gave to me. And so it's like, I give my mom the credit for me being where I am today, and like for me being able to make this recovery is because she put all the stuff in place, and I obviously like acted on it, and I used it, and I did what I did. But today, in 2021, it's changed. It's gone to my beautiful wife, Caitlin, and she is my everything. Got one more?
So I have a comment and a question real quick. The first is from a student that said, this is awesome. I really enjoyed him. Please come back.
Keep bringing the comments. You guys are just like boosting me up.
Yeah. And then I also have another question. This is from Zoe Chapman, and she is a sophomore, and she is asking, what is it like to have your injury and your life in a movie and so public?
Yeah, Zoe, that's pretty weird, because it's like you guys that have seen it, you see my whole life. Like, the documentary starts when I'm like 11 months old, and that was filmed 32 years ago, and it was like my dad was filming those home video clips on this like old camera that had like the big tapes, and it's like, I don't know, then it like goes through my whole life. And we were always filming each other because that's just who we were. We weren't filming like we're going to make a documentary about our lives, but we just always had so much fun with our friends, and just everyone was having the best time. And then when I started to become a little bit more famous and well-known, people were like, oh, we have to film. And so everything was filmed. And then basically everything was put in the movie. And the movie was filmed by 230 different people around the world that they get footage from. So it's like everywhere did people film me. And I guess I didn't really realize it like growing up, like how much I was filmed and how there was always a camera around me. But it was almost like something like this was meant to happen. So like everybody could see my life, because I feel like, I don't know, for as unlucky as I am, at the same time, I'm that lucky. And I guess I always imagined something really big needed to happen to me, because I really wanted to have an impact. And I guess this is how I have my impact. It's like, we don't all get to choose what we do in life. Like, sometimes things happen to us, and that's what you have to deal with, rather than like you choose. Like, I didn't choose to go and hit my head really hard. That, like, no one wants to do that, but that happened. And so it's like, now that has happened, it's like, how do I deal with it? And having a movie, I think, is the best way that I could have shared it. And I don't know, it's a really cool movie, so I'm happy. My hair's really long, and I need a haircut, and I'm kind of feel like I need to put my hat back on.
Well, Kevin, I'm sorry, but go ahead.
I just have a comment from Erin Troutman, who's a sophomore, and she says, will you just tell Kevin thank you? He is one of the coolest people ever, and just how much he's enjoyed listening to you.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And one last comment, Senior Megan Newman said, "We all love this. Will you please come speak at our graduation?"
Yes, I would love to. I'm there.
Oh, well, Kevin, thank you so much for giving us this time today, but also just sharing your story, not just with us, but with everyone. And you're really a great example of what courage can do. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
And stay tuned, because the new documentary is in the works. We've already started filming and it's going to happen. So there's more to come. So it's like, this story is not over yet. We're still writing it. And I would love more than anything to come to your class and get to share the next step, because life goes in steps, and I feel like my next step's going to be pretty cool.
Awesome. Very good. Well, our next step is homeroom. We're going to give mission number 3 a chance. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
guys. Signing off.